Good day, everyone. Welcome. My name is Loreto Atamosa, your instructor for ABM2 with the description Applied Economics. For today's video discussion, we will talk about business opportunities. And in simplest terms, it is a packaged business investment that allows the buyer to begin a business. And at the end of our video discussion, everyone is expected to define a business and an industry, to understand the industry and environment analysis, to identify the different types of industries, to enumerate the characteristics of industry structure, to identify industry competition and competitors, and explain what drives competition, to understand industry and environmental frameworks, to explain the role of suppliers and customers in an industry, and lastly, to discuss how to turn an idea into a business opportunity. Now, this lesson focuses on the objectives as well as focusing on the principles, tools, and techniques for business opportunities. And so, business happens when there is an exchange or trade of significant worth between one organization and another. So, business can allude to a particular industry. In fact, the advancement of nation's economy to a great extent depends on the strength of its ventures, which are viewed as the soul of an economy. So opportunity is defined as a situation that enables an entrepreneur to offer marketable products or services to interested buyers or end user. With that being said, business opportunity is a product or service still not in existence, or products or services is already in the market but failed to satisfy the customers. So the entrepreneur later creates a business that is able to fulfill the needs or wants and or solve the problem. Now let's talk about business and industry. So business is an organization or economic system where goods and services are exchanged for another or for money. On the other hand, industry is a collection of competitors that produces similar or substitute products or services to a defined market. So the difference pertains to their scope. It's a sector refers to a large segment of economy, while the term industry describes a much more specific group of companies or businesses. So an industry, on the other hand, describes a much more specific grouping of companies with highly similar business activities. Now, let us talk about the types of industry. First, we have primary industry. So primary industry engage in the production of goods through nature, which needs very minimal human intervention. With that being said, primary industry is defined as an industry that is concerned with extracting the natural resources on the earth so that they can be converted into consumable products. So it can be mining of natural resources like wood, iron, coal, minerals, agriculture industry, and even fisheries. Second, we have manufacturing industry. Manufacturing industry are firms that engage in transforming raw materials into finished products by using equipment, machines, and manpower. With that being said, the manufacturing industries are industries transforming goods, that is, mainly manufacturing industries in their own right, but they also concern the repair and installation of industrial equipment and subcontracting operations for third parties. With that being said, manufacturing industries are those that produce aircraft, automobiles, chemicals, clothing, computers, consumer electronics, and electrical businesses. Third, we have construction industry. So it covers the construction of infrastructure such as buildings, roads, bridges, and water system. So the construction industry is the sector of the economy that builds, improves, and repair buildings, structures, infrastructures, and land features. So the construction industry also includes jobs in carpentry, road construction, bridge development, and home design. Now, this industry is one of the largest in the world because it is responsible for creating the infrastructure for cities, towns, and countries. Fourth, we have service industry. So this usually render work for customers for fee. Now, this does not involve manufacturing or processing. So a business that works for a customer and occasionally provides goods but is not involved in manufacturing. So service industries include everything else: banking, communications, wholesale and retail trade, all professional services such as engineering, computer service development and medicine, non-profit economic activity, all consumer services, and all government services, including defense and administration of justice. Fifth, we have extractive industry. And so this is any business activity that involves the extraction of raw materials from the earth. So extractive industry can be defined as a processes that involve different activities that lead to the extraction of raw materials from the earth, such as oil, metals, mineral and aggregates, processing and utilization by consumers. Extractive industries are businesses that take raw materials including oil, gold, iron, copper, and other minerals, so from the earth. So the industrial processes for extracting minerals includes drilling, pumping, quarrying, and mining. Sixth, we have genetic industry. So this covers firms that are engaged in the production of products from plants and animals to create objects for sale. So genetic industry means the industry engaged in the reproduction and multiplication of plants. Examples of this industry include plant nurseries, poultry farming, cattle breeding, horse breeding, and etc. So genetic industry which undertakes reproduction or multiplication of animals and plants with the aim of earning profit. Seventh, we have import-export industry. So this involves buying and selling of foreign goods. So the import-export industry is a global network that delivers products worldwide via sea or air freight. So this gives you the opportunity to travel around the world on a regular basis, including to America, Europe, Australia, and Asia. Lastly, we have retail industry. So it involves selling commodities directly to consumers. So by retail, we mean the market that includes all those activities that involve the sale of goods or services by a company directly to the consumer that are usually purchased for personal or family use. So retail industry means stores and other outlets primarily engage in retail sales of food products to consumers for off-premises preparation and consumption, and all industry sectors where goods are sold directly to end users. Now let's talk about the three broad industry groups. First, we have the agricultural sector, includes agriculture, forestry, and fishing, which is sector A. Number two, we have the industry sector, includes mining and quarrying, which is sector B, manufacturing, sector C, electricity, gas, steam, and air conditioning supply is sector D, water supply, sewerage, waste management and remediation activities sector E, and construction sector F. Third, we have the services sector, consists of the wholesale and retail trade and repair of motor vehicles and motorcycles, which is sector G, transportation and shortage sector H. Now let us talk about the economics of strategy, industry and environment analysis. So if we talk about economics, it is the study of how societies use scarce resources to produce valuable commodities and distribute them among different people. Economics of strategy focuses on the key economic concepts students must master in order to develop a sound business strategy. So industry analysis is a business function completed by business owners and other individuals to assess the current business environment. So industry analysis is a market assessment tool used by businesses and analysts to understand the competitive dynamics of an industry. So with that being said, industry analysis is a very important skill to develop as a management student. So you guys need to develop effectively and efficiently to look at markets to break down the important factors influencing them. So this can help you target new potential consumers or in a way to compete with other competitors' companies. Now, let's head on to environmental analysis. So it considers the market where a firm operates. With that being said, Environmental analysis is an interdisciplinary major focusing on the interaction between human and non-human components of the biosphere. So it applies approaches in social sciences, arts and humanities, and natural sciences to understanding and solving environmental problems. So an environmental analysis helps organizations identify internal and external elements that can either negatively or positively impact their business. So by looking at factors such as the economy and technology, businesses can anticipate potential opportunities and threats. Next, we have external analysis. So this can be done through a PESTEL analysis. We have internal analysis, and this can be done through SWOT analysis. First, let us try to discuss the PESTEL analysis. PESTEL analysis is an acronym for political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental. P for political focuses on government policies, stability of government, including taxes. So as you can observe, political factors involve how and to what extent a government intercedes on an organization or a specific industry. So it refers to the influences of governmental policies may have on your business. So political factors include political stability or instability, foreign trade policy, tax policy, trade restrictions, and so on. Now, E for economic factors. So this focuses on government, interest rates, inflation, credit, and forex. So economic factors determine the financial condition of an organization or specific industry, just like above. So as these factors play a pivotal role in deciding the supply and demand models in the economy, so it has a long-term influence on business, be it a direct or indirect. So economic factors include economic growth, inflation rate, exchange rates, interest rates, and many others. Now, as for social factors, this focuses on culture, education, gender, wealth distribution. So the social, or more specifically, the socio-cultural factors focuses on the demographic characters, norms, and customs of the population within which an organization is functioning. So these factors help the marketer to understand the customer's needs more clearly. So it also highlights the local workforce and the sustainable conditions under which they will be willing to work. So social factors includes population growth rate, income distribution, lifestyle attitudes, and more. Now, T for technological factors. So this focuses on new innovations, technological advancement, rate of technological obsolescence. Now, since the dawn of the Industrial Revolution, technology has played an essential role in the health of any business organization. So innovations in technology can impact the operations of industry and markets, both favorably and unfavorably. Now, it has made it very important to analyze and monitor these factors, so they vastly contribute to specific decision-making scenarios. For example, it is wiser to enter a particular industry or not. So technological factors involve research and development activities, automation, technical awareness, and etc. Now, L for legal factors. It focuses on product regulation, employment laws, patent, health and safety regulations. So business nowadays are required to understand the legal premises under which they can operate adequately. So although some of the factors overlap with the political factors, they generally include more specific laws and policies such as discrimination laws, copyright laws, consumer protection laws, and more. Lastly, we have E for environmental factors. So this focuses on geographical location and weather. So with growing environmental awareness, businesses cannot undermine related factors fully. Moreover, the scarcity of raw materials, carbon footprint targets, and pollution targets have made them even more pivotal to an organization's functioning. In the environmental factor consists of ecological aspects like weather and climate, environmental offsets, and etc. So as you can observe, this tool is best useful when all these 7 factors are critical. For example, when launching your very own business. Well, I guess you can understand why this is the first on the list. So, whenever you are starting a business, you have to consider the 7 forces that make pestle. It is impossible to start a legal business without following the preordained political laws of your jurisdiction. So in the case of e-commerce business, you need to follow the technical rules, 3 factors: political, legal, and technological. So you surely cannot ignore the rest. Starting a business without any idea about these forces can cost you gravely. But on the other hand, if you have a clear understanding of these factors beforehand, you will have an advantage. Focusing on the above-mentioned factors gives us clearly regarding the bigger picture at stake and how these factors can shape the future of business. So a well-conducted pestle analysis will help us to draw up detailed planning regarding the role of the market in its niche. Now let's proceed with the SWOT analysis. So it focuses on strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of a company. Now it helps firm to do the following: to work on their strengths, example, factors that allow on the firm to stand out; to eliminate their weaknesses, example, factors that increases the firm's cost or reduce revenue; to pursue opportunities, example, new business initiatives for growth and improvement; lastly, to prepare for threats such as instability that can negatively affect the firm's performance. So a SWOT analysis allows you to think about your own internal strengths and weaknesses. It also helps you think about external opportunities and threats that could affect your company's performance. So SWOT analysis also helps you explore what the differentiators between yourself and your competitors are. So the first 2 letters of our SWOT, strength and weaknesses, are internal factors that you have control over, and you should look within your company or business to complete these letters, while opportunities and threats are external factors that you do not have control over, and you should look outside of your organization to complete these letters. And here's an example of a SWOT analysis. Ready? Now let us proceed with the Porter's 5 Forces of Competition framework. Now here's a video presentation for us to fully understand about the Porter's 5 Forces of Competition framework. Here, let's watch this.
Most people think of business competition as a tug of war between rivals, with each competing for more sales or market share. But according to Harvard Business School professor Michael Porter, competition is more complex than that. It's not about who's the biggest. It's about who is the most profitable. And profitability is defined by 5 competitive forces. Let's start with your buyers, or customers, who would always be happier to pay less and get more. In the airline industry, price competition is fierce because so many travelers just want the cheapest flight. Then, there are your suppliers, who'd ideally like to be paid more and deliver less. Powerful suppliers will use their clout to raise prices or insist on other more favorable terms. A third source of competition comes from substitute products or services that meet the same basic need you do. These aren't always obvious rivals. The toughest competitors may come from different industries. New entrants can also create tension. For instance, Southwest Airlines challenged the industry by flying just one kind of airplane, reducing costs and allowing it to offer better ticket deals. This pushed other carriers to spend more to retain their customers. Finally, you still have to fight your existing rivals, and intense competition reduces everyone's profitability. The major airlines have been in this position for years, forcing them to defend increasingly narrow profit margins, with fees for exit row upgrades, checked bags, even snacks. These 5 forces define every industry structure and shape your company's future. Once you understand them, you can make better predictions, create more competitive strategies, and increase your profits.
Ready? That is a very great presentation, right? So we can identify that Porter's 5 Forces of Competition framework is a simple but a powerful tool that we can use to identify the main sources of competition in your industry or sector. Now let us proceed with the types of economic utility. Now here is another video presentation to give us a deeper understanding about the types of economic utility. Here, Let's watch this.
Hello class, this video will cover utility. Okay, so utility we define in marketing as the attributes of a product or service that make it able to satisfy consumers' wants and needs. In other words, what this is really saying is utility are the things about a product or a service that make us want to buy it. Remember, we buy things to either satisfy our wants or our needs. So these are the characteristics of individual products that make us see it and say, you know, I want that or I need that, and then ultimately we end up buying it. Okay, so utility can come in 5 different formats. There's form utility, place utility, time utility, possession utility, and information utility. So let's take a look at form utility. An easy way to remember form utility is the product useful? Okay, the product satisfies some sort of want or need that we desire as a consumer. Okay, it's really taking the raw materials or the things that make up a product and putting them together in a meaningful way. For example, think of a shoe. A shoe is just rubber, leather, cloth. All those individual pieces separated, we really don't want. But when a company takes those individual pieces together and makes a brand new shoe that we either want or we need, that is an example of form utility. So the next form of utility is place utility. And this is a convenient location to purchase an item. Okay, it's one of those things that shoppers, you know, you may not necessarily think about, but it does determine a lot of your purchasing decisions. You know, is it going to be convenient for me to pull into this gas station over another gas station? There's really no difference in the gas at either station, but you're going to make your purchase based upon the place utility. Which one is the most convenient for you to go to get the gas for your car? Third is time utility. So the hours of purchase are convenient. So maybe there is a store and they're open 24 hours a day, and somebody works odd hours, so maybe they work overnight or something like that, and they like to do their grocery shopping before they go into work. Maybe they go into work at midnight, so they're in there shopping at 11 o'clock at night. Well, that person is going to go to the grocery store that's open that late at night. Okay, so that is an example of that grocery store utilizing or creating time utility. They're keeping their grocery store open at a range of hours, okay, that are convenient for the person that works odd hours to do their shopping. Possession utility, receiving the product is easy. Okay, so some luxury car companies, they'll actually deliver the car to your door. You don't have to go to the dealership. They'll have somebody drive the car out to you. Okay, if you ever rent a car, Enterprise, their slogan is, you know, rent Enterprise, we'll pick you up. That is Enterprise exercising possession utility, receiving the rental car rather than waiting at a checkout line at a busy airport. They're going to bring the car to you. Okay, that is possession utility. Finally, information utility. This is communication between the company and the consumer, and it's a good level of communication. Okay, there's clear exchange of understanding, basically. Companies that, you know, have good customer service, this is good information utility. If there's a problem with the product that the consumer has bought and they need to talk to a customer service representative, you know, having a wide range of hours when they're going to be able to get in touch, having well-trained customer service reps that can efficiently answer the questions or concerns of the consumer, that's an example of information utility. All 5 of these elements of economic utility are ways that companies go about trying to make their product or service more desirable to their consumer, okay? To make their product meet the wants and the needs of the consumer in the best way possible. Okay, so these are 5 different ways that companies go about making that happen.
Alrighty, that is an amazing video presentation, right? So we now have a deeper understanding about the economic utility. So this can be defined as the total amount of satisfaction that someone experiences when they consume a particular product or service. So it helps measure how much fulfillment someone requires in order to satisfy a particular need or want. So companies strive to increase the utility or perceived value of their products and services to enhance customer satisfaction, increase sales, and drive earnings. So the concept of economic utility falls under the area of study known as behavioral economics, which is designed to assist companies in operating a business and marketing the company to attract the maximum amount of customers and sales revenue. And that is the end of our video discussion about business opportunities. Again, my name is Loreto Atamosa. See you guys in my next video. Goodbye!